So again, as we've heard and viewed from the top, coming from rampart to the grizzle, that is the top of the rum bin, we are now at the feed point of the process plant. This is where the feed to the plant is extracted. This is the rum bin. Here the arrangement is the feeder and the feeder belt, apron feeder. This controls the feed into the process. And down here is the chute, as you can see. It's a framework that receives material from a higher to a lower point. That is where you got this feed. This is an example of a feed that was inside here. We got it transferred in here through our feeder belt. Then it's going to be introduced into the process through the double deck screen feed conveyors. This is one of the conveyors that feeds the double deck screen at the far end. But once we get there, you really see what I'm really talking about. It's a double deck. You call it trash screen or Don Valley because it has two deck arrangements. Yes, it has two deck arrangements. That's why we call it double deck. And each deck is made up of screen panels with different sizes of apertures, the openings, that allows sizes of the ore material to pass through. So if you cannot pass through the top screen, you have to come back to the crusher for resizing. In other words, you are going to be grinding in, crush, and further reduce in size. And from there, if you pass through the top deck, but cannot pass through the second screen, the deck of the second screen, you have to go to the ball mill for further grinding. But the sizes of ore that meets the requirement of passing both decks of the screen panels are going down to the hopper that is being transported through pipe network to go to the hopper of the ball mill. But meanwhile, this is the rum bin, that is the run of mines bin. This is where the feed to the process is extracted, and it is controlled or directed into the process through the feeder belts via the chutes, transfer chute. And in a not too distant time, I'll just take you to the crusher, which is the machine that actually crushes the sizes of all rocks and reduce them to required sizes. Okay, everybody, as I was saying, we are now at the crusher equipment. This is where the sizes of the rock, the ore rocks, are further reduced to a requirement that will permit them to go through better separation at the downstream. I'll just show you the inside of the crusher. As you can see, we have the drive unit with a little motor. We have the drive unit with a motor here. Inside there, you can see the impact plate, and you see the blow bars. Once the feed is being introduced from the upper chutes there, it's going to be impacted within the inside of the crusher and reduced to the required size before being directed for further processing. We'll soon go to the top of the crusher so that you can see the feed chute that brings in the feed, through which the feed is being introduced into the crusher for you to further see how the operation is really being carried out. Let's get on. This is the top of the crusher equipment, in other words, because it's a chute, and it is a conveyor CV15 that is feeding this crusher. On the side of the pillars there, you can see the start button. This is where you want to start this conveyor. This is where you start the conveyor. And let's just see the chute. You see the conveyor drive unit. This is an electric motor that helps to drive the conveyor, and the conveyor is being guided by trough rollers. Underneath, you can see return rollers. At the top, you see trough rollers to help guide and track the conveyor belts. This is an example of a conveyor belt. They carry solid materials from one part of the plant to the other, and it's a very essential equipment that aids the separation and processing procedures that are being done in this plant here at Sierra Leone. But meanwhile, let me just show you the top of the chute so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. This is the chute that introduces the feed into the crusher. Once the feed gets here, it's going to be dropped inside this chute, and the material is going to be received within the down of the crusher, the bottom side. The materials are going to be thrown in and out, blows within, hitting the impact plates and reduced to sizes. We'll have a walk through one of the conveyors while we access the screen so that you see the separation that are being done within the screen area. We now have a walk. You see exactly what I'm talking about. We have our walkway, we have our guide here. It's always very essential to have guides. This you are seeing is known as the pull wire. This is an emergency pull wire. Once the operation is on and you notice something that is not normal within the process, you need to pull this. You pull it and stop the operation immediately. Try to solve the problem, notify the control room before you can further proceed with the operation. But ensure you do it for a valid reason. You just can't stop the plant without any clear reason. So you have to stop this side of the plant using the emergency pull wire. Meanwhile, we take a walk. As we get along, you see the conveyor itself and the truss rollers. You have underneath the return rollers, the pull wire. I need to have my guide always. I'm taking the venture of holding the goggles because operation is not on. We don't have much of oil flying around. So it's always part of a great and basic necessity to have these requirements. Your safety helmet, you have your safety, your reflective vest, you have your long trousers and a safety shoe, your goggles. It's always an important point to note. It's always an important point to note, actually. So till we get to the screen, just stay on. I'm your man at the time. We're now walking towards the double deck screen, as you can see here. This is the lower part of the screen. Earlier, I made mention of a hopper that is underneath the double deck screen. This is the hopper that holds the materials that would have satisfied the two double deck screen panels. Once you pass through these decks of the panels, you are supposed to come to this hopper, and you have to be in slurry content because water has been added to the chute, the pulping chute of the screen. Drop down here, and the rest using pumps. Pumps are electromechanical devices that help us to transfer slurry and liquids as well as fluid from one part of the plant to another. So once you meet the requirement of passing all the decks of the screen, you have to come to the hopper here for further transportation. Now I'll just show you the top of the double deck screen for you to see example of panels we have. Okay. This is the double deck screen. We call it the trash screen. This is a chute. This is where the feed is introduced. On this side here is the top panel. You just show them the top panels. These are example of top panels. They are like 10.5 millimeters, the sizes of the apertures. Once the feed enters here, it's going to be separated. If the set of rocks cannot meet the requirement of passing through these holes, they will go back to the crusher, like I said earlier, for regrinding. They are going to be further crushed to reduce in size. Those that passes through this first deck